Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. Bitcoin is currently trading at 109,180 US dollar. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to trade with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc, which has a similar trading volume to Bitget, OKX and Bybit. But as you can see, the taker fees are far much lower than on the other top crypto exchanges, and on top of that you can save another 20% discount on those low taker fees if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description. Also, 100 pairs, 0 fees just on mexc, and here you can trade some popular altcoins without any fees on mexc. So let's start with Bitcoin. What did we say? We have said the target is still ongoing. 114,300 US dollar for the bullish pennant in bright blue, which we have built up here. That's the target. We also have our resistance area there. Okay. We have also said that here is a double top pattern, or even a triple top pattern if we count this here as well. If it breaks to the downside at 110,300 US dollar, then we should drop to 108,760 US dollar, but as long as we hold the 107,250 US dollar, it's still all positive. I would stick to it, but I would also change a bit. So the 107,250 US dollar, as we can see, they got us support. We bounced on that trend line. I would say 106,000 US dollar is even better to take, because we can still wick lower than 107,250 US dollar, but 103,550 US dollar would be my key level, where I would say, okay, this is most likely our all-time high. If we break the 103,530 US dollar to the downside, and afterwards we can get the pullback, and then we have to see when we get the next breakout for a push like this, for example. So let's see. In the end of the day, we don't have any chart patterns. That's why I would like to use the RSI today. On the 50 minutes chart, on the 1 hour chart, we can't see much, but what I see is for every coin beside Solana and HBAR we have a hidden bearish divergence. Look into the RSI. We have higher highs in the RSI, but we have lower highs in the chart. That hidden bearish divergence would get activated if we break something to the downside. Now we have to see what is the breakout. What is a near breakout? The safe breakout would be the 107,250 US dollar. If that price mark breaks, then the chances of getting a bigger pullback gets even higher. But if we also take a trend line like this, a very sharp trend line with 2 touch points, even if that breaks to the downside, we can even push impulsively to the downside and maybe take even the 107,250 US dollar to the downside as well. So keep an eye on that. It's not anything which I would like to short. We are still in an upwards trend. So basically, just because we got a pullback doesn't mean that the bear market begun. So basically, if you look, let's go into the 4-hour chart. Ignore the price marks. There are a lot, I know. But as you can see, we got a push to the upside. For example, this one here. And we got a pullback. After that, we continued getting higher prices. Afterwards, we consolidated. This was our pullback. We got a push to the upside. We got a pullback. And this pullback here, which we got in this case, and you can see what happened afterwards, we still pumped up. Let's look how many percentage it was. It was still round about 5%. If we take 5% from the all-time high, then you can see we get in the area around about, let's say, 106,000 US dollar. So keep that in mind, pullbacks are normal, and after that we can even get a bigger pullback and push to the upside. So I know we can drop, we can go up. But when would I get into a trade? I would say if we get back over the 110,300 US dollar, which was the trigger of this sell-off here, where we have said if we break it to the downside, then we should go impulsively to the downside, at least into 108,700 US dollar. If we get again over it, it would be positive, and we can get some price movement to the upside, at least into our all-time high from here. And then we have to see if we also break it to the upside, then I think this purple box is going to get very interesting, which is between 112,500 US dollar to 115,000 US dollar. Also, we have here price mark, which is currently the 113,771 US dollar. That's a trend line on the weekly chart where I have connected all the all-time highs with each other. It already worked for the all-time high in 2024 and the all-time high in 2025. So I connected the tops here with each other and predicted the other all-time highs from 2024 and from the beginning of 2025. This was also good predicted. Now we have to see if we get into that dark blue trend line again. So Ethereum. I think we have predicted Ethereum pretty good, in my opinion. So we have said here, we have here a bull flag. Now let's start first with something else. We have to go into the 1 hour chart. Here we have said breakout, retest, and we can get into the blue trend line 2,675 US dollar. If we also break it to the upside, then we can reach for prices up to 2,725 US dollar, or even a step higher between 2,740 US dollar to 2,780 US dollar. We didn't close that fair value gap. It was very close, but we got to our target, which we had from here, even perfectly. I've also told you that I like it when we get resistance at resistance. If we have a resistance trend line, when do we get the verification that it is resistance? For sure, if we get resistance. I liked it that we built up lower than the resistance a bull flag, which is a bullish pattern, which broke to the upside, which got its retest straight into our take profit area, 2,720 US dollar. Here was our first take profit, 50% out of the trade, the rest stop loss. Depending on when you are going to enter the trade, you have to for sure you have to see how much you want to risk. My stop loss was lower than the blue trend line again, right here, because I was thinking we got also here the retest, and then we can get into the fair value gap or even the 2,850 US dollar. I don't want to see that it can't happen anymore. It still looks good to me, but what I don't like is that we lost the 2,586 US dollar. And it looks like if we go into the 50 minutes chart, we had a hidden bearish divergence. Right here. Higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the chart. What I also see, it can be a triangle, it can also be a bearish pennant. Has two targets. The difference is just the target. Here we have the target of the triangle, which we put to the breakout point. And here we have the target of the bearish pennant, where we take the push from the upside to the downside and put it then to the breakout point. So, since we have the hidden bearish divergence, and since it looks like that we are going to break to the downside, I think that we can get still a bit more of a pullback. But The good news is, which isn't a good news. Yeah, we have a good news and a bad news. We have said in the past that we have here an head and shoulders formatation, a possible one, until here. We needed the breakout to the downside to complete and activate this chart pattern. We broke to the upside, so I can take out the target of the head and shoulders formatation. We invalidated the bearish pattern. But if you look close to it, this can also be a double top pattern. If that breaks to the downside, and that's the key level where I would say, if we break it to the downside, then we can forget getting into the area 2850 again very fast. Yeah, then it will take a longer time period. 2,325 US dollar. If that breaks to the downside, 1,900 US dollar is the target of that double top pattern. And as long as we hold the 2,325 US dollar, we can still get up into this top area here. So that's the bad news. We can still drop, in my opinion, 10%, 9.5% to the downside without getting bearish on the midterm. So the bearish pennant looks like that we are breaking it to the downside. First target 2,473 US dollar, 72 US dollar. Do I want to short it? No. Do I want to look where the price is going to go? Yes. Why? Because we can still drop into those targets. Maybe we get a bounce at our first target. Maybe we get into our second target. I want to trade another long entry. And I want to see where the price is going to go to, think about better entries in the future and try to get maybe even more risky entries on the smaller time frame to be faster in the market when we are low here. Instead of waiting, for example, if we drop like this, then I would still say if we break the 2,586 US dollar to the upside, then it would be positive and we can get the push. But we are down here. We are far away from the 2,586 if we are down here. So I want to find some good entries which we can trade to the upside. That's why. And also some of you, I personally don't care if I don't trade something, then I don't trade something, but I know that some of you are holding probably Ethereum, that's why you look this video. You also want to see where the price is going to go. And what I can tell you is, as long as we don't break the 2,325 US dollar, if you are a long-term holder, like I can just talk for myself, if I'm a long-term Ethereum holder, then I wouldn't make myself problems as long as we don't break lower than the 2,325 US dollar. If we hold that price mark, then we can still push to the upside. But also it depends on how long I want to keep Ethereum, because if we break the 2,325 US dollar to the downside and we meet the 1.9k, let's go into the 1 hour chart. If I bought Ethereum down here, maybe I don't care if the price goes down like this. Yeah, so it always depends. I'm giving you the information which I have at the moment, which I think is more realistic. We can look, for example, into the altcoins. For example, Cardano, which sold off a lot, but we have already told that 82 cents is our target and we can even get up to 84.8 cents. It didn't happen, we missed the target, but we have said that we are going to get most likely into this area here when we were here. And what happens after that, nobody can tell you that. Look into ONDO, for example. The $1.05 were our target. If we break it to the upside, then we can wait for the $1.10, but I want to take profits before we break the $1.05 to the upside, because we perfectly got rejected there, and we also have tracked that target when we were here. We can go into and look over render. Yeah, I'm not going to do some promotion for the altcoin update, but I also want to show you something, that those price targets which we got already, I put the price marks there because it might be possible that we sell off for sure. I don't know. If we break here to the upside, for example, and I say let's for example we get into the $5.33. I don't know if we are going to break it to the upside there, push to the upside, or if we are going to sell off a bit to get a pullback and afterwards break to the upside, or if this was our top and we sell off like this. Since I don't know that, I just know that the $5.33 is going to get resistance, and the chances are high that we get into that area. It might be even possible that we overshoot it and don't care about the resistance. It's speculation what we do here, but it's a game of chances, probabilities, and we have to track where do we have the best risk to reward ratio. And taking profits in our take profit areas would have saved us from this selling here. We can look into SUI. If you look SUI, then you would scream. We have said $4.11 is our take profit. Okay, we went over it. But if we just take the $4.11 and not the top here, yeah, we still went more 2% up. Doesn't matter. We saved 10% for us, to the low even 14%. And it looks like that SUI is going to drop even more. And we prevent those kind of scenarios. And the same is also for Ethereum, where we have said here's our take profit, because we can sell off. I personally didn't expect this to the downside. And I know that some of you are holding Ethereum and most likely are currently having bad feelings or something. For me, myself, I trade. I'm not in a long position anymore. I got stopped out anyway because of this. Before, we had a push here to the downside. In this push, I got stopped out. I tried a small long position here when we got this push to the upside. And the rest was also here. Stop loss. I took profits 50% out of here because I knew that the chances are high that we sell off. But that we sell off that much, I don't know it. That's why I have a stop loss there. And if that happens, then I prevent it getting liquidated or in huge losses. And if I see another trade, for example, breaking the 2,586 US dollars to the upside, then I can take another trade, maybe to close the fair value gap, which I think is risky, but still, it is possible. So I hope that I gave you some valuable information, and you have already seen that I made some good calls with the altcoins. So if you like to watch the altcoin update, I will release it soon. See you.